All right. Afternoon, Shaggy SoCal to Forza, and it's going to be all aboard the struggle bus as I try to do a track guide for here that Road Atlanta Short in this Audi RS6 Avant station wagon. Uh, yeah, I just got done running some just test laps just to get a feel for what the car needs, and it's going to be fun. This is probably going to be more learning what not to do from me than what to do. But we'll follow the same format. I'm going to go out and run some more laps here, see if I can keep up 4 tires on the pavement, do a slow track walk, and probably talk mostly about everywhere that I'm doing something wrong or can't figure out what the car needs. And then just to mix things up, we'll do then a mock race with what I think the race length will be, just to see how really bad I'm going to be here. So no, I'll probably get something sorted out, but by the end of the stream. But I mean, mainly that's partly why I do this. I need to practice, so I might as well broadcast it so you can see all my failures. But let's just go ahead and get started. So again, I'm usually for these opening laps, I usually just go 50% fuel with medium tires. Figure that's a good midway point to figure out what's going on. I haven't even figured out what the tire wear is going to be like. So let's go ahead and start race here and run some laps and see. I'm probably just going to run these mediums until I get to moderate, and then I can kind of gauge the rest of the wear from there. Again, all-wheel drive. Don't have to worry about trying to launch the car. You just hold the hammer down. Again, this car does not trail brake all that well. It like when you hit the brakes, it likes to brake and stop in a straight line, which makes turn 1 interesting. So here, the back end's going to want to step out. You can use a lot of inside curving there. This is just all about let the car do the work. Don't try it. This car really doesn't want to be hustled. It's too big and too heavy. And can't really abuse a lot of the curving like we're used to either. It's a big, heavy station wagon with a light back end. Shift to third. Press third over the hill. Short shift to fourth. Short shift to fifth. Ease off the gas. Just roll the car in. Let the car do the work. Fifth gear seems to be a little more balanced than fourth. Which doesn't want to stop. I'm probably way slow there. I can probably take it faster, but it's that risk reward. I'll do it in fourth. So I'm going to be braking at the 6 board here. A little bit late, but down to second. Short shift to third for the second part of the chicane here. Fourth. And again, car's gonna understeer under power, so. Finally starting to get turn 1 good. And yeah, you're really going to want to stay off curbing. A couple of curbs you can get away with. Oh, going to be late there. Let the back end rotate out. hill, tree, ease off the gas, stay off the curb. Tires. I'm doing better on tires than I did earlier. Third gear there, braking at the board by the yellow pit stand. Yeah, so that the angle there has changed from 7. That's what's also throwing me off. But I can't really abuse the curbing on the outside because it just it's going to just upset the car mightily. Again, part of this is just unlearning what we've been doing, at least definitely with the Falcon last season, what we could get away with, what the car wanted, and the Porsche as well. Whereas the smoother you can drive it, and the more kind of within its window, its window of performance is pretty small, and once you step out of it, where are we at? 40. That's the angle. Try that again to make sure it's not a fluke. But again, I'm actually running a little bit longer for these demo laps because I'm going to really fully sort this out, or at least to sort it out as much as I can. Once in 4th, up to 5th. Cut that a little bit. Probably a little too much curbing there on the initial entry. Braking, try to get to the inside. There's minor. Use that one a little bit. This one's a little bit more problematic. You're going to get comfortably. You're going to get about 7 laps on the mediums, so it's probably similar to Hakone, probably a 5.7.10. Okay, let me just let's just circle back around, then we'll do the track walk at this point. But 101, there's going to be more laps, so 1 or 2 more laps. Okay, so let's just go ahead and finish this out nice and calmly. Okay, so let's do the track walk. So So we're at Atlanta. You're going to be fifth gear. Again, this car doesn't. uh, Where I'm struggling with it is that one, I have to relearn all the braking. We have to. I'm braking. I'm finding, at least for me, don't know about anybody else. Finding I have to brake a lot earlier than I'm used to braking in other cars we've raced here. Um, so for me, it looks like it is about. I don't see it as the five board, but it is the start of, I guess, the photographer's tent there. Yeah, take a nice, pretty picture. I just see yellow tent, so it's probably at the start of the yellow tent, right about where that five board is. Now, traditionally, a lot of times, I think in the Falcon, when we were here in the Falcon, I think I was tending to brake fairly straight and then release and turn the car in. Um, and know that there was enough downforce and grip that I could bring the car in. I could trail brake it a little bit, and it seemed to be fine. This one doesn't want to do that. So it is, for at least what I'm trying to do, what I think is working is as I'm getting to here, I'm braking, but I'm already just starting to get the car pointed to the inside. Again, I tend to use the little corner worker shack that's on the inside of turn one there as the target about where the curbing is. The curbing's off there. So it's brake, down to fourth, down to third. And I'm trying to do, again, car doesn't like to trail brake and like turn and brake at the same time. Once I get on the brakes, it wants to go straight. So I'm going to try and angle the car straight to the entry apex here. And if I do it right, most of the time I won't, is get the car slowed down, release the brakes. And then when I release the brakes, then I'll have front wheel steering and I can hopefully get it here and start rolling back into the throttle. Um, the compression will hit here. This is where if you're too aggressive on the throttle out, the car's probably going to push out wide. I'm going to try not to go all the way out to the left side. Again, car doesn't like outside curbing. You drop the tires, it'll upset the car, and at best it just pulls you off into the grass. At worst, it'll spin you sideways. So I'll probably do that a few times. So coming up the hill, roll back into the throttle, still third gear. This is where this is a balance thing. So what I'm looking at as I'm coming up the hill is one, I'm kind of trying to point the car towards the tree straight at the top of the hill, at least to get it kind of set there, about the middle of the track. What I'm using as far as setting up for the top of the hill, in the Falcon, I could actually go off of there was enough downforce and grip, I could go off the light pole there on the right. That's too late with this car. So I'm actually having to use the tree that's right off here on the right side. And what I'm doing is, or what I'm going to try to do, is as I go past that, I'm going to ease off the throttle and start to turn the car in. Um, Depending on how quickly I come off the throttle again, and as I'm turning, the car is going to got a playful back end on it. So you might feel the back end step out a little bit. It shouldn't be, it shouldn't snap on you. You'll just feel it kind of step out. And again, we have all-wheel drive, so we got some torque on the front. We can just add a little bit of throttle and pull it out of the slide. I think when I'm comfortable with it, it's gonna be a lift, but I'm not gonna come fully out of the throttle. It's probably maybe about halfway out. So I still want a little bit, I'm still trying to keep some weight on the back of the car so I can just get it set correctly. But as I crest the hill, because it is kind of blind, what I'm looking for is, I think in last Forza game, I had lined it up that it's like if you were parallel with the beginning of the curbing here on the left side, that it seemed to line you up with the top of the hill, and I think that's changed. And I haven't gone back and looked at some of the Forza 7 track guides at Road Atlanta, but at least kind of how I was using the left side curbing to kind of get the car aligned so it was set to take the best line over the top of the hill here. I've had to change my tactics. So what I think it is, and maybe I'm just not recollecting it, but what it seems to work for me now is to get the car actually at the apex. So you can kind of see the curve. If I can get the car right next to, not on the curbing, I'm stay off that curbing. But if I can just get the car kind of oriented next to the curbing, kind of pointed at the tree that's kind of straight ahead there, that seems to put the car in a good position. So maybe you're like right here. Is if I have the car here and I get to the brakes, it seems to put me in a good enough position where as I get to now here the right hand kink, the car is set up where I don't have to do a huge lot of steering to get the car through there. Again, this is where, you know, yeah, it's we've raced this plenty of times in previous Forzas, but it just seems to be that there's just enough subtle changes to this new version of Rotolanda for Forza Motorsport 2023 that I'm still trying to relearn what or unlearn what I've done before and learn what I need to do for here. So brake, 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 still third gear. Again, we have generous track limits, so you can kind of straddle over this completely to get across the top of the hill. Again, just be mindful. It's a bumpy curve. It's going to upset the car, especially the back end. So just, you know, watch your throttle. If you feel the back end start to slide, stab the throttle, pull it out. Use the front of the car to pull it out of the slide. So we'll see how well I do here. More often than not, I'll probably be missing this apex the first few laps until I get used to the setup. But bring the car out, keep it to the left side. Try not to use any of the curbing here if you can help it. Still third gear. This is where the other part of this car is going to get tricky. I'm probably still turning in early here. I think what I've been doing in the past is probably turning in where the curbing starts. I think I need to be a little bit more patient and turn in closer to where the curbing ends, and then just try to balance the car through these corners. You can, you know, balance your throttle. You can probably get away with straddling the curb here. This one, if you're going to straddle the curb, try not to cross back over the curb, getting back onto the pavement. So if you're going to straddle the curb here, then I would just say keep going straight, because you don't want anything to bounce the car coming back onto the track when then you have to turn right. Braking, I think you're probably going to want to do a little bit of a brake here, fourth gear, right at the end of where this new patch of road is. Brake, 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 turn in. Now, for me, I'm aiming for this is kind of visually for me. There's two apexes on that inside curbing. There's this initial one, but then there's one late as it kind of guides you into the crossover point onto the back straightaway. So I'm actually trying to aim for that second apex in fourth gear. Clip it. You basically clip it right at the end of the curbing. It tends to keep me mid-track to inside for this sweeper. I don't want to be entering the sweeper playing with the sand trap on the left side. So I want to try and give myself as much room to the left side as I can, and find that balance of distance and momentum. So still fourth gear here, maybe shifting up to fifth, crossing over onto the back straightaway. I will try and clip the apex, clip the curbing here, getting onto the back straightaway to keep the car to the right side of the course. Now we're down to the last couple of turns, and this car again does not like to stop. I'm finding I have to stop. Come on, reverse. I have to hit the brakes all the way back here at the 6, at least on the mediums, probably on the hards as well. Maybe on the softs, I can brake a little bit closer to the 5. But yeah, you need a lot of braking to get this car to low down. For me, it's all the way down to second. Brake, 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 brake. And mainly for me to second, it's to help get the car turned in for the first part of the chicane. So get the car turned in here. Just clip the curbing on the exit. Short shift to third. Clip the curbing here. And, so I'll be in third gear. I will short shift to fourth as I cross the hill. Normally, I don't like crossing over the yellow, kind of the designated pit lane entry lane. But given how, again, all-wheel drive car, you're trying to carry as much speed over the hill as possible, it's going to understeer. It may be better to actually use all of this road here on the inside as you cross the hill. Just know that the angle you're coming out, you're coming up pretty quick to the outside. So short shift to fifth. This last corner, usually I will be all the way out here. I will leave it up to you. I think you can do it in fourth or fifth, depending on the tire and depending on your comfort level. But what I'm trying to do, at least, I don't think you necessarily need to brake to enter this corner. I think you're going to want to ease off the throttle and just kind of roll the car in. Excuse me, let the car do the work. So what I'm aiming for is I'm turning in. I'm going to stop about here. There's another one of these where the the inside curbing, it's not this nice symmetrical curve onto the front straightaway. There's actually, as you look, it turns a little bit. There's that first apex, and then it turns a little bit more for the second, late on that inside curbing. It's that later apex is what I'm aiming for on exit. That's where I want. I want a late apex out onto the front straightaway. It's probably best. I think the car works best that way. Um, and for me, it's that difference in feel. Fourth gear, you're a little higher in the you're a little higher in the RPM range, puts a little more weight in the front. So you might get a little bit more better turn in. Um, for me, at least initially on the mediums, it seems that fifth, the car just feels a little bit more relaxed at the back. That it's got a little bit more weight in the back. That feels a little bit more stable. I'll let you guys figure it out. But for the most part, I'm really not going to be on the gas much at all. Hopefully, not having to brake, but aiming for that late apex, end of the curb, clip it onto the front straightaway. Once I'm out, I'm probably not getting back to full throttle until I'm on the left side crossing start finish. Um, it's just roll the car in, just nice and gentle, be smooth at the steering, off with the throttle, and then once you're sure you're on the front straightaway, get back on the gas. That's what I think works. We'll find out here in a little bit. But that's Road Atlanta short in this behemoth. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to try and set up the race. I don't know if Forza is going to fight me again. And we're going to run. So let's see. It was about a minute one on that. So let's go ahead and get out of here. So we said about 7 laps or so on the mediums. But let's just pull out my little handy dandy calculator. I don't think it's going to be 35 laps. So if I do 2100 seconds divided by what is minute one, so we'll do 60. We'll do 62. We'll round up. So that's even coming up 33 laps. That's probably still a little bit high for factoring bucket delays and like that. So I'm going to run. I'll do the same as I did at Hakone and run 31, and we'll see kind of how that balances out. But let's go ahead. Audi. All right, so circuit race. My number of laps, we will do 31. Tire wear looks to be about the same. So it looks to be about, and I'll actually do soft and hard tires again. We'll see if it's 5 and 10. Starting time of day, we'll do random. Rolling, geometric over 20%. We'll do random, no rain please. 8, drive tire designs, cars, sport, luxury. No, we want any car. But specifically, there we go. Don't fight me, Forza. 5 FR, okay, standing start, random, that's all good. I'm going to make everybody do 3 stops because I think it's going to be a 3-stopper anyway. Okay. Yep. What is it with you and rain?
The longest, fastest section of Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta's short course leads to the heaviest braking zone before the turn 7-8 chicane, where passes will be attempted.
Yep, I'd imagine that's going to be the best place. Normally it's in the full course that chicane is that turn 10 and 10A, but short course no. All right, so let's go event setup. We'll leave the time of day alone. Forza, I don't like your weather. I don't know why you keep wanting to do that. No, I said no rain. I'm going to give you one more chance, Forza. Okay. No. Is there... I'm curious. I'm just going to... All right, so there's variable wet, variable... do that. Okay. Dribble dry. Dribble wet. I see what that is. Rain at the start, rain at the end. Clear, mostly clear, partly cloudy. Looming clouds, thunder clouds. Since you want rain, we'll just do looming clouds. That'll change some of the lighting there. Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go car. Fuel and tires still, again, if it's over 30 laps. Again, we're not on full throttle as much, so we're getting a little bit better fuel mileage. But we're going to start on... Let's start on the hard tire compound. And we'll do... Again, I don't like mucking around with trying to refuel, so if it's 31 laps, I'll put it in up for 32. And let's go race. And I'll drop to the back. Yeah, it's going to start me up front, so I'm just going to pull over to the left, let everybody by, hopefully not get hit. Okay. Again, this opening stint, I might get slightly better mileage on the tires just because I'm not pushing immediately because there's just so much slow traffic. That's a lot of steering lock you're putting in there. Again, outside curving strikes again. Well, I think that'll balance out the tire wear from lap 1. Come on, turn. Again, I gotta remember hard tires are probably still not quite fully up to temperature. Just barely dropped the tire off on the left rear. Bit of a lift. And maybe 4th gear on the hard tires might be a little bit better. Get a little more punch. Wow. Push. Once you get out of rhythm, you know, it's so hard to get back, kind of get the car settled and get back up to speed. Get to work. Again, this is where the sweeper, you can, if the car's pushing a little bit, just ease off the throttle. You'll feel the back end rotate a little bit, and then just roll back in once you got the car pointed the direction you want it to go. A little bit too late on the brakes. I'm getting better at getting the car set up through there. I'm not doing well through here. I'm flirting with that outside curbing. Be able to do that in fourth. Getting more comfortable. Right, so there's a dirt patch there on the inside of that sweeper that if you get there, when you see, this is what happens when I start talking when I shouldn't. There's a dirt patch on the inside that I think, if you're on the inside of that sweeper and you see that dirt patch, you should be able to roll back into full throttle and hold it through the exit of the turn. So I'll kind of try and say something when I get to it. And then I need to box this lap too. Back to the inside. That dirt patch there. Yeah, I want to be. All right, let's try and get into pit lane without rolling the car. Okay, we'll do another round on the hard tire compound and skip. Yeah, so that's 10 laps. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be 10-5 or 5-7-10 on the tires. Excuse me. And hopefully we don't run into anybody on exit. Let's see. Let's figure this out here. 31 laps. Second stint. You have to use a different tire compound. So if I go to mediums next stint, I'm gonna get 7 laps. 27, 20, 30, 30. Okay, I think that's what we'll do. We'll do this stint on the hard tires. We'll do the next stint on the mediums. And finish out in the softs. And hopefully I've done the math in my head right, because as I've said before, I really can't do that. Right now, this is just all about being as smooth as possible. Wow, you can really use a lot of that inside curving. As I said, I don't want to be wide going into the sweeper, that's why. That was more how I was taking the inside curving before that. If you find out of the final corner that you're going to get tires on the outside curbing, just stay off the throttle, just try to get the wheel straight, and then once you're sure the car is straight, then roll back in. Okay, that's a little too much. brake there. I think that's going to be the key to the car. The smoother you can drive it, the less it's going to surprise you. Barely a little bit of brake. I'll take a free position, thank you. And again, I'm not getting the car back across. I'm turning in way too late. Let you go. I'm going to look on the wondering how aggressive I can be on throttle there. I guess the trade-off is I could be more aggressive getting the full throttle in the sweeper at the cost of tire wear, because I'd have to dial in. Come on, third gear. Doing so well before. What's going on? You can feel like I carried a little too much speed in, the back end started to rotate around on me. we can get a good lap in here. A little bit wide, but third gear helps get the car turned. You know what? I'm not braking enough at the top of the hill.
Total time penalty is about a second.
Really? Because I think I'm more than a second down on this lap because of that bobble. I'm about to go more. That's better. Only took about 10 laps to figure that out again. Alright, let's go to mediums for 7 laps. And then we'll finish off on the softs. Nice to have grip. So the back end still wants to step out. A little hot. Oh, that's going to be a big one. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. keep trying to abuse the curves down there. You have to try and find that straight line through, but I've got too much weight shift going on. I think I have enough of a run to try a pass here, but we get something set up for turn 1 and hopefully not take us both out. Not enough of a run. We'll take a peek just so I can see into the corner. Could have been really bad. Look. This lap anyway, though. What I get for looking at tire temps or tire wear in the chicane. Oh, now I'm at 50. That's interesting. I could probably do, so it might be 8 laps on the mediums, though it might be 7 might be the safe bet. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and box and put on the softs and see what we can do. Well, I'm dead last, but I think if there's still people that haven't made their final stop, I'll probably pick up a couple positions that way. So let's just see if I can catch Tom there in front of me. I am doing a
3 left.
little bit, just a little touches on the brakes to bounce the car into the corner. You're going to be really wide here like you were last time. Oh. Get the car straightened out before I hit the brake.
Final lap. You got this. So yeah, I think 31 laps might be about the distance, maybe factoring bucket delays or like that. So might be 32 laps, but that's Road Atlanta short in the Audi. Again, we got two tracks. We're trying to balance the car through kind of mid high speed corners. It's going to be a challenge. So this is more of a. I think this car works better in point and shoot or low speed corners kind of courses. But anyhow, talking too much. It's been a long day. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. And we'll see you next Thursday. All right. Happy racing. Hey, 21st in the number 21 car. That's fitting.